5 times Khabib smashed his opponents. You are dead inside if you feel nothing after watching the Eagle in action. This Russian former professional mixed martial artist, who was the longest reigning UFC lightweight champion, has a massive knockout history in the ring. Today we will roam around Khabib Nurmagomedov and watch some of his deadliest smashes. Stay tuned until the end, as we are going to share with you some of Khabib's top knockouts, where he just smashed his opponents. Hi folks, thanks for tuning in. This channel is all about punches, kicks and knockouts. We belong to the world of MMA. If you are also an MMA fanatic, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay connected with us. That being said, let's head towards the video. Khabib vs Edson. At UFC 219, Nurmagomedov faced the talented striker Edson Barboza in his hardest test to date. Edson is renowned for his powerful kicks and extensive footwork repertoire, but Nurmagomedov was unfazed by anything. Despite being pummeled by the Brazilian, Nurmagomedov gave the lightweight division a performance of the night. He was dismantled and pounded into oblivion by Khabib Nurmagomedov in the co-main event of UFC 219 at T-Mobile Arena. Once the battle reached the ground, Barboza was essentially defenseless, and referee John McCarthy closely observed him. Barboza's face was a mess, and then he stumbled back to the locker room. Khabib vs Dustin Poirier. When Dustin Poirier aimed to unify the belts against Nurmagomedov at UFC 242, his confidence was at an all-time high. Poirier had just won 4 straight fights, 3 of which were stopped against former champions Anthony Pettis, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. On the other side, Nurmagomedov had recently defeated Conor McGregor via submission, giving him his biggest victory to date and catapulting him to prominence. But Nurmagomedov was the only one under siege. For the first time in his UFC career, he not only had his father, Abdulmanap, on his side, but Khabib also had a significant role in bringing the UFC back to Abu Dhabi in front of an enthusiastic crowd. Although there was a lot of pressure on Nurmagomedov, he performed admirably. A frustrated Poirier was even heard saying to his corner, "I can't get him off me." As Nurmagomedov imposed an unrelenting pace, his suffocating pressure once more proved to be too much. By round 3, Poirier had succumbed to Nurmagomedov's pressure. Khabib vs La Quinta. Khabib Nurmagomedov defeated La Quinta by majority decision in the main event of UFC 223 to finally accomplish his objective of becoming the undisputed lightweight champion after a turbulent week. Before facing the New Yorker, the Russian faced several different opponents throughout the fight week, but he handled the business as usual. All 5 rounds of the fight were won by Nurmagomedov, who relied on his wrestling skills and allowed his strikes to be tested in the latter rounds. Even worse for his corner, he channeled his inner Muhammad Ali and continued to fire out his jab for the full round. La Quinta deserves praise for filling in on short notice and displaying amazing fortitude, but Nurmagomedov once again showed himself to be the superior fighter. He achieved his goal of winning the championship, and from that point on, he was unstoppable. Khabib vs Conor McGregor. As he faced his formidable opponent to date, Nurmagomedov had a lot to endure. At UFC 229, Nurmagomedov faced the formidable former 2-weight UFC champion Conor McGregor in what turned out to be the most popular pay-per-view in UFC history. The two exchanged jabs, the build-up became intimate. On fight night, though, Nurmagomedov controlled himself until the cage door opened. McGregor was reportedly dragged down by Nurmagomedov, who eventually overpowered him and even managed to finish him out with an overhand right in round 2. Nurmagomedov escaped damage from that piston-like left hand in round 3, even though McGregor would go on to become the first man to defeat Nurmagomedov in a round by keeping up the fight. In round 4, Nurmagomedov regained the initiative by bringing McGregor to the ground once more. He then put the finishing touches on the victory with a neck crank that made McGregor submit. A furious Nurmagomedov then leaped over the cage and into McGregor's corner, sparking a fight that left both fighters suspended. At last, the fight, which was fought with a heavy heart and was wrapped up on an emotional note, because grieving Nurmagomedov competed for the first time since the passing of his father. Khabib vs Justin Gaethje. On paper, Justin Gaethje, with his knockout ability and illustrious wrestling career, posed the biggest threat to Nurmagomedov when he was up against him. In the Silent Flash Forum in Abu Dhabi, there was tension as Nurmagomedov didn't step on the gas until the bell sounded. Gaethje was quickly put on his back foot as Nurmagomedov charged straight at him. Gaethje, however, was able to score powerful blows on the break as well as thunderous leg kicks that were beginning to wear down Nurmagomedov. But in round 2, the Eagle persisted, eventually knocking Gaethje to the ground and putting him to sleep with a triangle choke. And this is Khabib. He was unstoppable in the ring and will remain an unforgettable star of the UFC. Well, this brings us to the end of the video. Express your opinion on the Eagle's performance in the comments below and consider subscribing to the channel. But before that, the like button must be pressed. We'll feel better, you know? We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for watching.